The Chargers have been recharging their batteries over the last couple of years under new head coach Tommy Prothro. No longer the league doormat, they can compete with anybody. San Diego has always been a potent offensive club, and this year is no different. Their stall of big, swift running backs is second to none in the league. Whether it's Ricky Young, Don Woods, Bo Matthews, Clarence Williams, or Joe the Jet Washington, the Dolphins will be hard-pressed to shut down their running game. James Harris has given the Chargers solid quarterbacking, and with receivers like Charlie Joyner and Johnny Rodgers, along with tight end Bob Klein, it's bombs away from anywhere on the field. And get this, fans, the Chargers, at long last, finally have a defense. Their huge defensive line has crashed in for 25 quarterback sacks in 6 games, and they've surrendered just 79 points all year. Outside of Baltimore, San Diego will be Miami's toughest opponent today. Roger Twibell, Channel 4 Sports.
Well, I feel comfortable, and, I'm happy to be with the Chargers. Everything has went well, and, we're improving from week to week. I feel good about the team and the effort that everybody is giving.
Personally, are you happier here than you were with the Rams or with the Bills before?
Well, I can't make a statement like that. One thing I can say is that I am happy here. I try to stay away from comparison between the situation, but I am pleased to be here. The big thing is right now, we're 3-3, where I just wish we had it was a little 5-1 or something.
You lost a couple of tough games, especially last week. This team really is a lot better than the 3-3 record that it has.
Well, I think so. I think we've been playing well, and like I said before, the big thing is the effort that this team has been giving. I think everybody's been playing hard and trying hard, and I think that's the best thing about the team.
No, this team's not down. This team's been through it before. Most of the guys here were with us in '75, and we were, at one time 0-9. And that's about as down as you can get. And I think the guys have learned to react better to things like that. Last week was a tough game. We had it, and it was just a giveaway. And those are the kind of games you gotta win. And in order to be competitive in this league. So I don't think this team's down. I think we're going to come out, and we've had a real good week of practice, and everybody's looking forward to kind of rebounding tomorrow and getting back on the winning track.
Well, I've been around a long time and been through a lot of great wins. Last second of a ball game, making a big play or kicking a field goal, and this one went against us. It's one of the toughest losses that I've been around, and our defense battled and tried to save it after the offense fumbled. We had a chance to just run out the clock and maintain possession of the ball, but Malone fumbled, and the defense battled it right down to the 4th and 2, or 2 seconds ago in the ball game on a 5-yard line, and Harris kept it on a run-pass option and decided to tuck it under his arm and go for it, and he got it. He made the play, and we came up short.
To tell you the truth, Tony, no fans have been getting on me. The press has been getting on me because they expect more, which I don't blame them. I've done very well the past 8 years.
You get spoiled with success.
Oh, yeah. I've done very well in 8 years, and when they see that I'm not doing well, they realize that there's something wrong. But the problem is that I had a very bad leg, and the leg is not 100% yet. That's why I'm not even kicking off yet. But it's going to come. My legs are feeling much better, and when the legs are there, there's no way I can't make them.
Well, when you put as much into it as these players put into preparation and then battle it the way that they battle it, it's tough to swallow losing. And the only thing that we can hope for now is to come out of it and make victory mean that much more to us. And we're going to have our opportunities. We got the Jets that we have to beat, and then we got New England twice, and it makes those games that much more important. The Colts later on, and teams are going to be beating each other. And San Diego was a good team today, and that's down the drain. We didn't end up 6-0 the way that we had hoped.
I've been here. This is my 6th year, and we've had some tough defeats over the years, but I can't remember a tougher loss to take. I tell you, we fought hard and just couldn't hold them. It's hard to evaluate a game like that, but you think about it, and I'm talking defensively, of course, and I tell you, all those young guys and everybody that was involved just fought their hearts out. I mean, I was out there in the middle of that huddle with them, and we stayed together till the end, and we just didn't make the play there at the end when we needed it. We as a team, we know we got something here, and we're not going to throw it away on one ball game. We got a tough schedule coming up, and we just got to swallow this one. It's a big one to swallow, but we're going to swallow it. We'll come back.
I'm a defensive back, and they threw at me 3 times in a row. Right. I can't do nothing but think pass, so my responsibility down there is pass defense, and that's what I was playing all the way, and unfortunately he called a bootleg on us, and he ran the ball, and it worked against us.
You hit him prior to getting to the goal.
Yeah, we met right about the goal line. His momentum was just too great for me to try to hold him out, and he took him right in the end zone.
Do you think they were, you said prior to that they had thrown to you 3 times.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were picking on Norris Thomas and trying to see exactly how good you were?
I don't know. I mean, that's a natural thing to do in any league, throw at the rookie, and if I'm going to be a defensive back, I'm going to have to respond. And, it's hard to accept, and I don't plan to accept it, really, even though we lost the game. But, I'm quite sure we're going to look at the bright things, the good things that happen in the game, and work from there and get ready for New York.
I don't think enough of the people in Miami took San Diego that seriously. They had lost their last 2 ball games the way we lost this one. They came in here 3-3. They could have been 5-1. Their defense was 3rd in the AFC, and they have a very explosive offense. So we had a lot of respect for them. We knew they were a very capable football team, but I think a lot of the people didn't realize how good they were. But we're still in contention. We're 1 game behind Baltimore. We play Baltimore once. New England plays them once, and we play New England twice. We've got a tough road to hoe. There's no question about it. But the people that are already writing us off after losing to San Diego, that's a bunch of baloney. It's amazing how quickly some of the people that cover the team and follow the team will turn on you since you lost 1 ball game. We committed turnovers. We had 3 interceptions. We had 3 fumbles. One of them was nullified by a penalty. And you can't play that way. We didn't play that good of football, but I don't think that's any reason to write us off after one loss to a team like San Diego, who was a good, bona fide championship caliber team. Not for the playoffs because they're in a tough division, but they're certainly a very good ball club. It upsets me that just to see that when things are going well, they're behind you, and when things don't go so well, they don't say, well, they didn't play well that week or things didn't go too well. It upsets me in that regard. It's not going to affect my play any.
Right.
But it is a little disturbing to see the people that follow the team, that know the players and know they're giving their best, and just to write them off after you've lost a game. We're 5-2, one game behind with 7 to go, and we're in contention. We're in good shape for this time of the year for a team that's supposed to be 7-7 after all the games are finished.
I still need to work more and more on my pass rush. I hadn't developed the pass rush yet. You need to be effective as a defensive lineman in the pros, but it's coming along each week.
Is this game, this professional game, everything you expected?
Well, I expected the guys in the line to be a lot more stronger than they are. I guess, I worked a lot in college with weights, and I really worked on good conditioning and everything. I think that's an integral part of the game, and I feel like a lot of the older players, the guys that were in the league 9 and 10 years, aren't as strong as the young guys that come out of college these days. But I feel that more and more younger players are going to take over the league, and guys my age are going to become the veterans and established guys in the league, and then it's going to be a lot tougher. But I feel that the older guys aren't as strong as I expected them to be.
Yeah, the guys were in there just fighting their hearts out, and it was just a great effort, physical and emotional effort out there on the field, and we really pulled together as a team. And although we had some things happen to us and lost the ball game, we're still a very close unit and closer for it.
All right, thank you very much, Pat and Tommy. You mentioned the Los Angeles game, New Orleans. It affects the standings. We're in the third quarter right now. Los Angeles leading by a field goal, 2017. Let's get you up to date now on everything that has happened. Of course, the game you watched, 14-7. How about Bob Tucker, fired by the Giants, and he goes and he catches the key pass. We're going to skip how many games? There we go. Back to Washington and Philadelphia. In the fourth quarter, Washington leads that contest by a score of 23-17. The story there, of course, Joe Theismann starts today at quarterback in place of Billy Kilmer, and already he has tossed for 2 touchdown passes. Houston and Cincinnati, the game was all but over, and Houston tied it with 27 seconds to go. It is now 10-10. Pastorini off the bench to throw the tying touchdown pass. Cleveland all over Kansas City. 37-0. Do you remember what happened when last season wound down? The Chiefs upset the Browns on the final Sunday. That is not going to happen today. The New York Jets and the New England Patriots. The Jets had them worried for a while. Patriots come on, and as Jimmy the Greek said in our pregame show, the Patriots now are developing into a great football team up there after a sluggish start. San Diego and Miami. Fourth quarter, Chargers driving. 13-7, Dolphins battling to hold on. Chicago and Green Bay being played in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is the oldest of rivalries. 16-0 in the third quarter. The Bears lead the Packers. Dallas right now at the half is ahead of Detroit. That third quarter should just about be getting started down there. 23-0, the Cowboys in command. They are rolling. 6-0 already. And, of course, the game that Pat Summerall mentioned, bearing on the standings now with Atlanta having lost. And the Rams lead it in the third quarter, 2017. I'm going to show you some highlights from that game in just a moment. It has been a wild game down there in the Superdome. And the NFL today will continue with some highlights on CBS in just a moment. San Diego has just beaten Miami. The final score in 14-13. The Chargers had 4 shots inside the 10-yard line. They couldn't get it in. James Harris finally rolled in for the touchdown. Berneschke kicked the extra point. Who is Rolf Berneschke? He was drafted by the Oakland Raiders out of Cal Davis, cut by that team, picked up by the Chargers. He's the biggest man in San Diego right now. Irv Cross, let's take a look at some highlights around the league.
Defense was the name of the game today, I think. Britain, of course, down in Atlanta. The Minnesota Vikings and Atlanta Falcons went head-to-head, and as 2 great defensive teams do. But Fran Tarkenton early in the ball game goes to the air, and ball's picked off by Rollin Lawrence. Pretty nifty interception here as the defensive back returns the ball along the near sideline here, down to the Viking 49-yard line, setting up a scoring opportunity for his teammates. Scott Hunter takes advantage of that field position and goes to the air right away to Greg McCreary, a tight end who's substituting for Jim Mitchell, and Atlanta draws first blood and led 7-0. But Fran Tarkenton comes back right away, and he goes to his favorite receiver, Sammy White, 55-yard touchdown pass, 7-7, scores all knotted. In the third quarter, the longest run of the day and the biggest play of the day, I think, Chuck Foreman going 51 yards all the way down to the 1-yard line, but that Atlanta defense held for 2 plays on 3rd and goal. Fran Tarkenton rolls out here, finds Bob Tucker in the end zone, who recently acquired from the New York Giants, and they take a 14-7 lead, and of course the game ended that way. But Steve Bartkowski came into the game for Atlanta, Brent, and tried to get his teammates from the scoreboard, and you know Steve's been out with a bad knee, and he goes to the air here, and watch what happens. The ball is picked off by Bobby Bryant, and he takes the ball down to the Atlanta 30-yard line, and from that point on, the Vikings simply ran out the clock and won the ball game 14-7.
Magnificent game down there today. That's a tough defense Lehman Bennett has put together. Just doesn't have the offense, does he? Now let's take a look at Philadelphia, Washington. Here's a play you may have seen at halftime if you were with us. That end around by the Eagles, and yep, they're going to fumble it up again. Here it is, and the Redskins have got a break. Joe Theismann, he's been saying now for a year that he should be the Redskins quarterback. He has made no bones about it. As a matter of fact, he said, I want to be traded if I can't play. He'll be back after his performance so far today. That was Fugit for a touchdown, and a few moments later, Theismann had it back again. He'll go to Danny Buggs, down to the 15-yard line. Now watch where Fugit lines up from the right side. He came from the left side for that first score. Eagles' James Betterson ran it in for a touchdown as the Eagles tried to come back in the second half. And it is now 23-17 as Harold Carmichael was able to catch a pass. Irv?
Brent, in the third quarter in Green Bay, the Chicago Bears have a commanding 16-0 lead, and the story there has to be Walter Payton. When you have the league's best running back, what do? Give him the mail, let him carry it. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry this year. Here he takes the ball down to the 5-yard line, a good tough run, setting up a Chicago scoring opportunity by Johnny Musso. Musso takes it in from the 4. Bears missed the extra point, but led 6-0. Walter Payton in another offensive series drives into the end zone. Chicago took a 13-0 lead at this point in the game, and right now lead the game 16-0 in the third quarter.
Detroit and Dallas. The Cowboys, the only unbeaten team in the NFC. They had rolled to 6 straight victories. They hosted Detroit. Detroit, not a good road team, as you know, and it was the Cowboys who got away to a quick start. Herrera's field goal here made it 6-0. And now watch what happens to the Detroit offense. Landry back. Mark Washington picks it off, and he gets down to Detroit's 18-yard line. Staubach will hit Billy Joe Dupree. Look at the time Roger had, and Dupree just crushes into the end zone. It was 13-0. Detroit made only 2 first downs in the first half. Landry trying it again. Hegman with the interception. Scott Laidlaw then took this pass from Staubach, and watch the blocking he gets as they go back to the other side of the field. Caught it just before it hit the artificial turf in Dallas. And suddenly it was 20-0. Now that Los Angeles-New Orleans game that I told you about. Wild action. Rams always encounter trouble down there in the Superdome. Today, no different. Now watch Pat Hayden, his mobility. Skips off to the left. Harold Jackson, 18-yard touchdown. Strawn replaced Muncie, who is in Hank Stram's doghouse, and he'll give up his jersey on this 4th down to get the ball down to the 3. And from there, Galbraith took it in for the touchdown. It was 10-7 Saints. Watch Chuck Chris come and hit Hayden. On this sack, it made the Rams go for a field goal, and it was tied at 10. Here is a fake field goal. Grooms, lining up as a tight end, caught the pass. 17-10 with 34 seconds to go. Watch this work by Jackson down in the corner of the end zone. It is a beautiful catch right down here. Touchdown. And as you know, of course, the Rams are a little bit ahead. And Phyllis, I understand you've got a couple of gentlemen on the other end of the line.
Let's see what they have to say. They took off their black sweaters and the pumpkin heads. Fellas, what do you have to say out there? Pat and Tommy.
You didn't have on any black sweater, did you?
No, and Pat's still trying to make me disappear anyway. Great game here. I'll tell you, it was one of the toughest football games, and I think Bennett and Eddie LeBaron and people have turned the team around faster than I've ever seen one turned around. If this isn't a wild card team, and maybe even better than that in that Western Division, then I'm going to be surprised.
Particularly on the defense. They seem to have a lot of talent on defense, and obviously they're well coached. Minnesota, of course, you know, never count them out.
Well, they look like they might win the division. That's not the same Minnesota team that we've seen the past 4, 5, 6 years. I don't think they're quite as explosive. Now, maybe the good defense did that, but anyway, I just think Atlanta has really turned it around, and this is a good Southern city that deserves and loves football.
And as you mentioned before, we think, and they think here, there is a very good wild card possibility for this team, particularly as you look at some of the other teams, like Detroit losing apparently to Dallas again. It's going to be a question right up to the very end, I guess.
I think the main thing that happened, though, when Bennett's team came out and opened at home and beat the Rams, and now they go out for the Rams, and if they could get even, well, if they get a split with the Los Angeles team, I think they got a pretty good chance.
Okay, Phyllis, we disappear.
Okay. Presto, you're away. Okay.
All right, happy Halloween, guys. Final score is just in. New England beats the New York Jets. The final in that game is 24-13. We have some highlights from that contest, and let's roll them up and take a look at the Jets in New England. Richard Todd has come on so well for Walt Michaels, but it is the New England Patriots who are one of the best teams in the league. Grogan, 18 yards to Darryl Stingley, who was coming off that big Sunday of a week ago when he was up over 100. Fool the cameraman this time. Where is it, guys? Touchdown, New England. 10-3. Now it is the Jets with the ball. Todd back. He looks for Barkham this time. And he's pushed out on the 43. Todd again. Got time. Straight down the middle. Barkham. Touchdown. Jets tie it up at 10. Grogan now wants the burner. Morgan can run to 4-4. He's a #1 draft choice by the Patriots. 17-10. Patriots ahead. Grogan again, this time to Hasselbeck. And a final score again. 24-13, New England defeats the New York Jets. That just about wraps it up for the game that you've been watching, Atlanta and Minnesota. Of course, a lot of key games still coming up later today, and then next Sunday, full round of activity. We'll have the doubleheader game right here on CBS. And for Irv Cross and Phyllis George, I'm Brent Musburger. We certainly hope that you have enjoyed the NFL Today on CBS, and we'll see you next Sunday. Have a nice week, everybody.
The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports.
And it is a pleasure.
Bob Lilly is on the field now for the induction ceremony of former linebacker Chuck Howley into the Dallas Ring of Honor. Don Meredith, Bob Lilly, Don Perkins are the only other members. They are all here. Here's Lilly.
He was an All-Pro for 6 years during his 13-year career. He was a Pro Bowler 6 years. He went to college in West Virginia. He was a 5-sport letterman 4 years in a row. He was drafted by the Chicago Bears, #1 in 1958. He was my original teammate back in 1961. And as I said, he was here 13 years. He is a great friend of mine. He's a friend of the Cowboys. And I know he appreciates all the fans and all the people who chose him. Without further ado, Chuck Howley.
Boy, let's see what a great linebacker he was. Quick, smart. The entire Cowboy team is gathered there in 2 lines at midfield to witness this induction ceremony of former linebacker Chuck Howley into the Ring of Honor.
Glad to start the ring. I only know of one way to show my appreciation, and it's rather simple. I thank the Cowboy organization for inducting me into the Ring of Honor. I thank very deeply the coaches that put up with me for 13 years and made me the professional that I was. I thank my fellow players that are sitting in the stands today and the ones that are still out here playing today. And the fans that gave me the encouragement and the urge to make the big plays, because I got this from you people too. Lastly, I got to show a great deal of admiration to my wife Nancy, my son Scott, and my daughter Robin, because it's pretty tough to put up with a professional athlete for 13 years getting ready for each game. Thank you, one and all.
Chuck Howley
Tex Schramm moving up there to shake his hand. And you can see the name Chuck Howley on the blue ring, which separates the upper and lower levels on the press box side. And there is the blue jacket, Bob Lilly fitting it on him, and Tex Schramm there.
Chuck, I want to present you with this specially designed replica of the Ring of Honor, which has now your name, along with Bob's, Don's. Hope you keep it the rest of your life.
Thank you very much, Tex. And again, my sincere appreciation for the fine organization the Cowboys has brought forth since 1960.
Frank Gleber is emceeing this ceremony.
Next, the only head coach that Chuck Howley ever had, from 1961 to 1973 with the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry.
Standing ovation for Tom Landry.
It's a real privilege for me to have the opportunity to speak for the coaches and the present team, and also congratulating Chuck Howley for this honor. I don't know of anyone that's more deserving than Chuck Howley. Not only was he a great pro, he's a great team man, but more important than that, he was a great person. And he did probably as much as anybody in helping Dallas build a franchise. So my congratulations to Chuck and his family today. Thank you.
Tom Landry, the head coach. Chuck Howley getting congratulations all around as he becomes the fourth man to be inducted into the Ring of Honor. The others are right there. Don Meredith, Don Perkins, Bob Lilly, and Chuck Howley.
Four pretty good athletes right there, I'll tell you. Chuck Howley, Linz, I think, was the only guy in the history of the Super Bowl to win the most valuable player on the losing cause. That was in Super Bowl V.
So there are the Dallas Cowboy Immortals who have been inducted so far into the Ring of Honor. Here at Texas Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboy halftime entertainment is produced and directed by...
And now he will be taken around the track in the automobile so that the fans can be a little closer to their hero, Chuck Howley. This is a part of the induction ceremony. He played his college football at the University of West Virginia.
Beautiful antique car.
Looks like one of the several cars Paul Hornung had at Notre Dame.
Several. The only car I had with my thumb. Oh, Chuck Howley. I had to block him a lot, Lindsay, and he was difficult. 13 years, sterling performance. Oh, this happy day for him. It's a very nice gesture. The Detroit Lions shaking hands with him on the sidelines, too.
West Virginia. All right. A contingent of the Detroit Lions had come back onto the field just in time to run into the middle of this ceremony. I don't think they planned it that way.
I tell you, I think this is a great tradition that the Dallas Cowboy organization has started. As you can see, the fan interest and the reception has just been great. It goes a long way in public relations. Just another example, Linz, I guess, of the great organization of the Cowboys. This tradition will go on for years and years. They're to be congratulated for it.
Chuck Howley, number 54. Number that Randy White wears just now. There was a newspaper cartoon in Dallas this morning showing Tom Landry being approached by a fellow who wanted to take the jersey of Chuck Howley. Landry said to him, "You take it," indicating it's worn by Randy White, who is 6'4", 245 pounds, and taking it wouldn't be all that easy.
I'll tell you one thing, Randy White's doing the jersey justice, too.
Chuck Howley now leaves the field from the tunnel, and these induction ceremonies have been completed. Two teams are coming back onto the field for the resumption of play here at Texas Stadium, with the Dallas Cowboys leading the Detroit Lions by a score of 23-0.
In New Orleans, the Saints rallied for a 27-26 win over the Los Angeles Rams. Quarterback Pat Hayden connected twice with Harold Jackson for touchdowns, this one for 18 yards in the first quarter, and this one in the closing minutes of the half for 9 yards and a 20-17 lead. But Tony Galbraith made it 24-20 in the third on a 1-yard run. Larry McCutcheon came back, gave the lead back to the Rams in the fourth, but the Rams missed the extra point on that play, and with just over 3 minutes left, Rich Zarro booted the game winner. The Oakland Raiders played like they're supposed to for the first time in 3 weeks this afternoon in Denver. Oakland jumped out to a 7-0 lead with 5 minutes left in the first quarter on that 21-yard touchdown pass from Ken Stabler to Cliff Branch. Errol Mann increased the lead to 10-0 in the second quarter with this 42-yard field goal. Denver turned the ball over 3 times this afternoon, and this fumble by Jim Jensen was costly because it led to the next Oakland score. Clarence Davis, who gained 101 yards on the day, took it over from the 8 for a 17-0 lead. That lead held up as Oakland won at 24-14 and moved into a tie with the Broncos for first place in the AFC West.
There's a bust of John McKay in the lobby of the USC football office. He was everything to Trojan football. McKay coached for 16 years. He led his teams to 4 national championships, 8 Rose Bowls in an 11-year stretch. But it was John McKay's biting wit that people said made him what he was. Keep your sense of humor, John, friends said when he left the school 2 years ago. You'll need it to maintain your sanity. A sense of humor is one thing, but McKay never thought he'd be a coach of the pro football joke. Losing can turn laughter into sorrow, but McKay's still glad he made the move.
I made a move for certain reasons. I have never changed my thought on that. I have answered that 10,000 times. No one has ever believed me. I like to take one of those tests you take, you know, that says whether you're telling the truth or not. I am really happy in my move. I'm really happy to be with the Buccaneers. I think Southern California is the greatest university in the world. I think they got a great coaching staff, and I wish them well, but what I'm doing is what I want to do at this point in my career. My life has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed coaching football. I enjoyed playing the game itself. I enjoyed my friends, and I said if I was sad all the time, I would just soon be dead. If we are defeated, and we will get defeated at other times, the sun's going to come up in the morning. If the sun doesn't come up, then we really have a problem. Any time that they feel that they can get a better coach, who could do a better job with the situation that's faced us, they are more than free to do so. My dad told me a long time ago that you might as well die when you can't laugh at yourself, and well, I can't say the word. I'm in hysterics at this time.
John McKay may have lost 5 quarterbacks, 22 games, and lots of sleep, but he can still laugh at his plight, no matter how much it hurts. For CBS News, Roy Firestone in Los Angeles.